Hey everybody, and welcome to Clergy Chat number 5, Golden Rings. No, I'm not going to do that every time, I promise. We are glad that you are here today. We had such a good time last week talking with y'all about things that sustain us and sharing some poetry with you. What's been good in your life this week, Rebecca?
Oh my goodness. This is going to sound really weird, but I really like rain. I'm such a 4 on the Enneagram. I really like rain. And so the fact that we've been getting this beautiful rain, I'm not a big fan of storms, but rain is good. So there's something just sort of lovely about having everything washed fresh. And so that may sound strange to say that the rain is sustaining me, but that's how I feel this week. How about you?
I get it. I have been working to make sure I take good care of myself. Sometimes I forget to do things like make healthy meals. So I've made several meals. And then the thing I'm most excited about today, I made a big old batch of pesto, which my basil was like, use me. So I made a big batch of pesto, and then I made a new pizza crust out of quinoa that was really pretty good. So, for me, finding a new recipe and discovering it's tasty and delicious is always really fun. So
I love pesto. That sounds delicious.
I did put pesto on the pizza, and then I was like, oh, I should have put pesto on pizza, but I'll do that later, because this is like the world's easiest crust. And if you are used to eating gluten on a regular basis, you'd probably be like, but if you're used to being gluten-free, it's really good crust. So 5 ingredients in a blender. So those are some of the things we're doing ongoing. We hope you guys are doing stuff at home that's sustaining you. Today we wanted to dig a little bit into our work with you, what we're hoping to do to help sustain you, and specifically to talk about the role of the clergy, of your priests, in the midst of a pandemic. So I think many of you know that we have really clear directives from the bishop that are designed for our health and protection, the health and protection of the entire community, both clergy and lay people. And that we have a task force for regathering that's thinking about all kinds of things about like when we can safely regather. We are guided by principles, three principles, which are community, safety, and love. And I think Rebecca and I fall into that category of, I think for us, guiding principles are community, safety, and love, and being obedient to our bishop. So to that end, as you may know, we are still not allowed to do any in-person pastoral care. All of our pastoral care is to be virtual, that is by phone or by Zoom call. And how's that been for you, Rebecca?
It's been hard, honestly, just because I think for most of us, I won't say most priests, but many priests, there's something about having that, the presence, being physically present with somebody, and being able to sit with them and hold their hand if they need it, or just to be a calm presence in the midst of something that might feel overwhelming. So at first it was particularly challenging. I feel like as time has gone on and I've gotten more used to talking with people on the phone, and spending time doing FaceTime or Zoom or whatever needs to happen to help somebody through whatever is going on, it's actually become something that I look forward to, being able to sit and be with somebody however I need to be. So it's been sort of this trajectory of maybe down here at first and then a gradual improvement in the way that I feel about it. I'm just glad to be able to still be with people, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think about that a lot in terms of, we are not the first pandemic in history. And I wonder what the clergy in 1918 did, when they couldn't be there in person. Because I suspect it was challenging then. Well, I don't suspect, but I think we can kind of know that was challenging too. I know for me, as I look at what I consider pastoral care, so often we think of things like the hospitals, which going to visit people in the hospital, but pastoral care can be going to get coffee and talking about what's going on in somebody's spiritual life, going to lunch and talking about what's going on in your family. There's so many ways that we do pastoral care. And yet we're having to reimagine all of those. And so I know for me, the first and hardest, because it's just so basic and much part of our life, was when we got word that we couldn't go to the hospitals anymore. I mean, you just count on being at the hospital 2-3 times a week when you're a priest, right? You know, whether you're going on a regular day to visit folks who are sick, or whether you're going to pray with somebody before surgery, and all of a sudden it was like, nope, you can't come in. And for me, I don't know about you, Rebecca, but for me, there was a real sense of, whoa, what's my identity? If I can't go in and do what I'm supposed to do, what I feel God has called me to do, how do I understand what it is to be a priest in this moment? And I don't mean to say I got stuck there, but it was this sort of shift of, especially when people were, had some called and somebody was dying, or somebody was really scared in the emergency room, when your instinct is just get and go. To not be able to be there has been a real challenge. I would agree with you that slope has sort of, whether it's a slope or whether it's adjusting to a new reality, I'm still not used to not being able to go to hospitals.
I thought about that the other day. I was like, how often did I drive to Northside Hospital in a week? And I thought, I haven't even been down there. I was like, my car was used to driving to Northside or to Kennestone. And I mean,
I've got my little circuit, and what times of day are best for traffic, and, where to park, and all those little things that you don't give a second thought to. It's really different. And I don't know when that's going to change, but I think one of the things we wanted to say to y'all is, as we continue in this pandemic that is still around us, I think a lot of us our thought has shifted from how do we pastor after the pandemic is over, to pastoring in the midst of a pandemic, because we don't know how long the pandemic is going to last. We recognize it's not perfect. And we recognize what it lacks, because I totally agree with you, Rebecca. There are times that you just go and sit with somebody, you don't say a word. And just being together in the same space is enough. And that's just different online. For me, just to sit here with you,
it might be a little weird.
Well, it's funny. I mean, even on Sunday morning service, somebody was saying to me, I missed that time of silence after the sermon. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And if we do that, people tend to think that we're having technological issues. So, it's just, we are now being silent. We are not having technological, I don't know. So I guess we just wanted to remind y'all that we are not available in the same way, but we are absolutely still available to you, whether that's by phone or by Zoom or FaceTime. And with you, I would agree, Rebecca, there have been some strange gifts in that, like learning new ways to sort of do that.
Yeah. I think for me, some conversations have taken place because I've spent so much time on the phone with folks over the past however many weeks it's been now. And those are real gifts, and a lot of laughter has happened in addition to tears. So I think that's something that is a gift in all of this. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, we're here, we're available. So
by all means, use us. I think that's one thing people, I don't know if they know or not know, but like, if you imagine why someone decides they want to be a priest, for most of us, a lot of it is that we love to be with people, and we love to explore the spiritual life with people. And that's really where pastoral care is. So this time is a growing time for us too, as your clergy, to learn how to do this in a different way. And I think we both miss the old way, even as we're learning new ones. So
and I would let everybody know that a pastoral care situation, as Sarah said, does not have to be an emergency. If you just need to talk about how grateful you are for XYZ, and then how challenging something else might feel right now, that's totally what we're here for. So No, that
Absolutely.
doesn't have to be an emergency.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a really important thing to say. Thanks, Rebecca. You do not need to be sick to need pastoral care. You can be needing pastoral care because you're overwhelmed with gratitude. Yeah. Or want. Maybe need's not the right word. Maybe want is the right word.
Yeah. Yeah.
That said, I still really like pastoral care over ice cream and coffee. So
Yes, me too. Or on a walk. A walk.
yeah, I'm really looking. I think at some point, I hope at some point that will become okay, and that'll be really awesome to like. Let's go take a pastoral. Let's go spend some time together walking. Be able to be with people that way. I'm hoping that's not too far away. But for the time being, we are available by Zoom, by phone, by FaceTime, by Facebook Messenger, by Pigeon, by helium balloon message.
By cat. I don't know. You could train.
Cat, yeah. Rebecca is available by cat. She speaks fluent cat. I think I speak fluent dog. So. Anything else on your mind today, Rebecca?
I think that's pretty much it. I'm looking forward to tonight's Finding Balance, which will be Friday. It'll be Friday when you all see this, but now you know our secret. Yeah. We're filming on Wednesday this week.
If you're in Bible study, I'm wearing Rebecca's hand-me-downs all day long today. So let's plug that for just 30 seconds while we're there. What if they didn't make it to the meeting on Wednesday night?
If they don't make it to this meeting on Wednesday night and they still would like to be part of a small group, folks can just email me at rebecca@stcatharines.org and they can let me know that they'd like to be part of a small group. I'll let you know what times folks are meeting and see which one works best for you. And the great thing about this is if you don't have the time to be part of small groups, because I've had a few folks say, I just can't commit to that, just do the videos and the journaling. I know a couple who are doing it together. So there are all sorts of ways to do this to meet your schedule in this strange time.
That's awesome. I would just also add that it is the biggest way right now we're doing small groups is with Finding Balance. But if you want to be part of a community, I really hope you'll come to coffee hour. We're having great responses to folks who pop in for coffee hour and talk with a few people and then head out. And our Wednesday Bible study has some of that. And I think we're continuing to look at ways for us to, and that does fall in the rubric of pastoral care too, for us to be together as a community when we can't physically be together. Anyway, yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining in for Clergy Chat. And as always, we solicit your topics. And I think that's all I have to say. Anything you got to say?
I think that's it.
All right. We will see you next time on Clergy Chat.